How now, Gaylord? What is with thine cap, and hast thou turned thy penis into a stick?
Tis a wizarding cap, and tis a wizarding wand, so you can just shut the fuck up again.
The day I went missing was the day I died.
You gotta work today?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's always fantastic. Oh, fuck. Dude, when someone texts you about whether or not you can record, you know, sending them a text back helps.
Yeah, I don't fucking care.
I just so happen to think that maybe I should put my Skype up just in case you decided to just jump on your fucking computer. Just in case. Just in case. Because I had no idea whether or not that was a yes or no.
I'm not a text message guy, Wes. So fuck off.
I'm sorry. Oh, sending a Y helps. All of these things, all of them.
I don't care.
You butt nugget.
Pretty much.
I hate you this much. So how was the Halloween thing?
The party was good. Your niece spent the night as well.
Yeah, how did my sister convince you guys to take care of her kid?
She wanted to spend the night with Harrison. Harrison wanted her to spend the night, so let her do it.
Oh shit.
That's how.
There's a small possibility that your child and my niece are gonna date.
She's a little bit older than him, so
Then your son's pimp.
Pretty much. That's how he rolls. You know what I'm saying?
What, you Corys?
Gangsters.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I think I'm a bit hungover. Don't judge me, damn it.
Michelle had like five beers or something like that. She bought some Blue Moons or some shit.
Oh, right. Well, like, I was good last night. I had an appropriate amount. I was ready to go home.
And then you didn't.
Well, I was pulling my shit together, and then this girl sat beside me, bought me a shot. This person that I know bought me a shot, and then I wound up buying like 4 shots. And that happened in like 20 minutes. I really have no idea what happened.
Way to be an alkie.
You're just jealous because
Not
you know you would
not
have
at
an
all.
addiction problem.
I bet I still went to bed later than you did.
I went to bed at 4:30.
I went to bed at 5.
Why did you go to bed at 5?
What can I say, man? Sometimes it's just too epic to quit.
Yeah, all your milkshakes bring all the girls to the yard or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
That's what the fox says.
What, moo?
Ding, ticka, 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 ticka.
Whether or not you care, like, random upside, the site's actually getting more hits in the past, or in the most recent uploads than we've ever gotten in the past year.
How many is that? 4?
No, well, over the entire year, we accumulated about 600 hits on the site, and
right.
then when we started reposting, in the past, between the one that posted on October 1st to the one I posted last week, we're over 1,000.
Nice.
So it's accelerating.
How many people are downloading it though?
We're getting about... Well, I can't see all of them. I can't see iTunes at the moment because we haven't paid for that high of an account. But a fair enough to say, like, people are actually listening. Like, it's more than one... Well, we're getting about a download every other day.
Your sister totally thinks that you should use the website basically to have either kind of like a blog post / update thing, or like where any of us or whoever would want to do it could post like pictures and make little comments on it, almost like a news feed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just literally links to the podcast.
What, the Facebook page?
Yeah, what it will, I don't know. I don't know if it's that or like the website or which one she was talking about exactly.
Well, okay, so we've got the podcast site.
I think that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, we've got the site where the podcast is being hosted. We've got Facebook, Twitter. There's a WordPress page, and there's an email.
I think she's talking about the actual site where it's being uploaded.
Yeah, she doesn't understand what this whole thing is.
I mean, I don't disagree with her because most podcast websites are set on some sort of website where somebody's making updates with either pictures or links to articles they find interesting or things of that nature.
No,
Normally, it's not just
that's what the blog is
like
going to
a
be
blog,
for. Yeah, that's what the blog is going to be for on the WordPress. But Chris is handling all of that because I'm taking care of all of the like tunes and shit. Oh fuck. Anyway. Hey dude, have you played Tokyo Jungle?
No, I have not. What is Tokyo Jungle?
It's a PSN game.
Right, so no, I haven't. I've been playing most of my shit on the computer over the past couple months, so.
Oh, okay. But the point of the game is all humanity has died, and you play animals that would have taken over the city.
Okay.
So like a 12 Monkeys sort of environment.
Right.
But you basically like play an animal, and then your goal is to survive. So kill, feed, mate, repeat.
You play the weirdest shit. It must be free.
No. It's like $5, but it's actually a really good game.
I don't doubt that, but I mean, it's just like, hey, you know what I feel like playing today? I think I'll play a game of a post-apocalyptic world where we play animals that have killed humans and we fuck.
Well, no, not killed humans. They're just all the humans are gone. So it's just
They
animals.
would have. They would have
animals.
risen up and killed us.
What do you think would be the animal that would lead in the human apocalypse?
The honey badger.
Why the honey badger? I think the
Doesn't
honey
give
badger.
a fuck.
Well, I agree that the honey badger doesn't give a fuck, but I don't see the honey badger as the thing that would kill us all.
And that's why he would. You'd never see him coming.
Honey badgers, they look so cuddly. I don't get it.
They're only cuddly because they don't give a fuck.
Fair enough. So yeah, why did you go to bed at 5?
That's when we wrapped up and got everybody out of the house from D&D.
Oh my god.
I had like 6 people playing last night.
Are you guys running still a linear campaign or?
Yeah, what I did is I started. They're doing D&D encounters this season. In the Forgotten Realms, they're tying in with like a big event called the Sundering.
Yeah.
Which is basically them hitting a kind of reset button to get things back from when they're getting ready to put out 5th edition this coming up year or whatever.
Gotcha.
You know? But it's like a big lore thing happening in the world being tossed around, and certain gods that are dead are coming back, and certain ones that are alive are getting killed, and all kinds of like epic shit's going on. Mm-hmm. Well, they decided to do like the D&D encounter session that they do in the stores. You can buy it this time, and so you can play along and send in your information, what happened like in your game of the Sundering. And what they'll do is there's certain facets of it, like who dies, who does this, who survives, whatnot, that will be determined by what happened to the majority of the people's games. So people are having an actual, at least small effect on what's going to be happening in the lore and what people publish and everything.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, if in 70% of the games, this is the person that comes out on top and not this person, that's who it is in the lore, in the official history or whatever.
Oh, okay. So they're basically looking to see who, like, how the story plays out from
the players, and then pull an average from that. That's kind of cool. Right, and so I decided I was gonna do that.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, that's kind of neat. So,
But I would
started
assume
playing.
you have to complete the campaign in order to kind of see how that
Well, I mean,
unfolds.
right, totally. But I mean, whatever you give them, they'll use.
Oh, okay.
But what basically happened is the first campaign is Murder in Baldur's Gate, and it's kind of an extension of the Baldur's Gate video game, the lore of that.
Yeah.
And it's an old school campaign, whereas in there's 3 factions, and you got to choose a faction, and vice versa.
Was that the game I played a little bit with?
Not the Baldur's Gate game on like PlayStation.
No. When I was over at your place.
Yeah.
Well, was that a game I played?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, as you noted that night, if you're paying attention, most of the people that tend to want to play my games, which is fine, they tend to be the punch people in the face, ask questions never.
Oh, like
type people.
Thomas.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that I won't say it throws monkey wrenches into that style of game, because you can play it however you want to. It just takes a lot of the nuance out of it.
Yeah.
Like all the different stuff that's meant to be like going on, like you have to make this decision and do this or do you do that. Blah, blah. When you just decide to hit everyone in the face, it kind of takes some of the subtlety away, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get you. Then again, I'm the guy who convinced that maybe we should get into a drunken brawl into the middle of the street and kind of distract the guards.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
that basically fell apart.
Shit happens, and that's fine. There's no problem with doing that. That's part of the game. Is you try things and it either works out for you or it doesn't. That's awesome. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
I mean, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit happens, right?
Yeah.
But what is the issue when it comes to stuff like that is that, like I said, that's like there's a lot of, I won't say RPing that needs to happen, but you got there's logical ways to go to situations. You don't always have to fight. Sometimes you're not meant to fight stuff.
Wait. Just really quick, define RPing.
Role playing,
Okay.
getting into the character.
Gotcha.
Not just looking at my number's bigger than yours, so I'm going to hit you.
Okay, gotcha. No big dick swinging.
Right. I mean, you can do that, but it's not meant for that to be the answer every time.
Yeah.
And if you go to the well doing that every time, you're going to get burned. Like y'all almost did.
Well, yeah. I mean, we went for it. It seemed like a good idea, and then it just me and who was it? Most
Mike.
Mike.
I think
Yeah. Me and Mike. We just rolled shitty.
Right.
We should have knocked out one of those guys, but we just kept rolling shitty, which played into the whole these guys are drunk, and you actually, instead of being a dick and having the guards kill us, just was like, yeah, they're drunk, they're really drunk.
Yeah, I mean, and that's cool. It's a really cool story, ongoing and everything, but you need to have everybody on board to not necessarily do the same thing, because you don't have to, but you need to be okay if one person wants to try to talk it out.
Yeah.
And that person needs to be okay if somebody decides, fuck this, I'm tired of talking, and run into it. And it can slow shit down and cause issues.
Yeah. People not being decisive and
Right. And
you've got a lot of people cycling through this game, right?
Well, it's been fairly steady lately. More or less.
Well, I mean, you have the same 3 or 4 people, and then it's been increasing by 1 to 2 every game. But, and you've got different people playing those characters, correct?
Well, it's been fairly steady. We haven't cycled out how much. Mike's the only one that hasn't been able to come lately because he's always had some shit going on. But right now we got.
What could he have going on?
We got Sam, Michelle.
I'm still trying to figure out how you got your wife to play.
Well, I mean, she enjoys it to a certain extent. I mean, she tends to get, I won't say bored quickly, but if stuff's not moving fast, she doesn't have a lot of patience for it sometimes.
Oh no, I completely understand that.
But I was like Sam, Mike, Martin, Michelle, a guy named Greg and his son. They started playing last week. And he used to play D&D back in the day in like a homebrew campaign or whatever.
Gotcha.
Which is cool. But so that they gave me 6 at the moment.
Well, yeah, that's not bad. But
It's not. Yeah, I mean,
well,
it's not.
These people haven't been playing together for very long, so you're gonna be dealing with the whole, like, no, this is a game that I'm playing. No, you're missing the point that this is a game that you are all playing.
Right. And so what I did was, Greg and them started last week. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put the Murder in Baldur's Gate thing on hold because that's really I don't want to say in-depth type thing because that's not really true. It's not in-depth, but I mean, you really need to play that, in my opinion, with either a group that is really good at what they do or has played together long enough that they kind of can play off one another. And
yeah, it sounds like none of these guys have really learned their characters, and everybody learned.
So what it is, I switched over and went back to like an Old Faithful. I brought out the Keep on Shadowfell one, which is an old school dungeon crawl.
Gotcha.
And so I decided to start with that because it helps you learn the combat. Because the RP and everything, you don't need to do it, but it always adds to it. But I mean, that's you being clever, thinking of stuff and putting it to the DM. There's not a whole lot of rules to it. You ask, and the DM says whether you can do it or not, and what you got to do it. Yeah. The combat's what you got to learn as far as what works, how to do it, how to work together, and this teaches that really well because you have to work together. So I switched over to that, and the other reason I switched that's nice about that is I've already done that whole campaign once, or that whole adventure. Yeah. And so I have like everything already planned out. I got my notebook. I mean, it's got everything rolled. It's got all the experience divided up. It's got all the loot divided up. It's got, the initiatives rolled already. It's ready to fucking go. So it moves. I don't want to say quick because it's still determined on the combat and how fast they make their rolls and their decisions, stuff like that. But on my end, I don't have to search and fumble and look and get this and do that and blah, blah. I mean, I have it. It's right there in front of me.
There may be one or two things that you have to adjust because of whatever reason.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, it's it's good. Which is nice. That lets me focus on other things.
I see.
But yeah, I switched over to that, and what I normally do with that is we play through that. It'll normally take you between level 5 and 6 by the time you're done with it. And what I normally do then is have them go to like the major town in the region, which is like called Fallcrest, I think. Gotcha. If you use the one that's from the book or the example they give you. And then I just have a whole bunch of hooks in town, like no particular one thing, but a whole bunch of little different things to let them kind of, as a group decide what they want to tackle or explore. Gotcha. That way they have a little free form where it doesn't feel like they're just doing a random, straight dungeon. And then I normally let that roll out. Let them pick where they want to go or what they want to do. And then, based off of what they're doing and what catches their interest, kind of move on from there. Let it spread out. So I'm hoping that works out. I like using Keep on Shadowfell. Like I said, it's got a lot of different little hooks to it and everything.
Gotcha.
And it's just a good way to teach people how to play that edition of Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, and it also sounds like because it's not a whole lot of complicated shit going on, these you're basically pulling a character building episode.
Right. I mean, it lets you figure out what your character's doing and why, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And at some point, like, someone's gonna make a crack, and it's gonna be like, well, why is your dwarf a fucking drunk, and then someone's going to joke off of that, and your role playing actually starts happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, like last night, I tend to try to facilitate some of that by saying, shit anyway.
Yeah.
Like last night, for instance, I had like Mike has his great axe that is named Betsy.
Yeah.
And so I started messing around with him and basically saying, I was like, you notice sometimes that not only is he talking to the axe, but it's the axe talking. Like he's acting like it's like a puppet. Like he's like, hey, how you doing, guys? Oh, what's up? Like it's got a personality. Like he's controlling like a puppet. I was like, he's a little off his rocker. This dude is obsessed with his.
Which, has there been any reason why the axe has a name and shit yet?
Not really. Other than that, he's just really obsessed with his weaponry.
Ah, gotcha.
Maybe to an unhealthy degree. We did have Sam though. He managed to steal some balls, like little throwing sling balls off of a guy.
Yeah. That
give certain, I guess little powers or abilities. I guess you could say with them. And one of the things. One of the things that I had it. So he did was he stole it. I was like, so you sneak up this guy, you can take his balls out of his sack. I was like, and one of his balls, it's green, and the other one is white and it's sticky because it was a glue pot, like a little thing you throw and it makes somebody stick to the ground or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I was like, yeah. I was like, so you've taken your ball sack. And you throw your ball sack at a guy. I was like, and he gets covered in white goo and can't move.
Penis joke.
I was like, you can't make this shit up, people. You're the one who reached into a guy's sack and stole his shit and then threw his white stuff on another dude.
Well, I hope the first dude enjoyed it.
He did. I mean, enough to come back for more.
Apparently.
And the other one was a stink pot. I was like, I think we've all been there.
Yeah. If it smells funny, don't put your penis in it.
That's right.
And I have no idea how that would work for girls. I guess girls, if it smells funny, don't sit on it.
Or don't let it go in you, or don't put it in your mouth. I mean,
Yeah. We'll work on that one.
Don't put it in your mouth.
Why not? It's supposed to taste wonderful. No, yeah, it sounds like your D&D game. You just need to do some character building. Like, I'm pretty sure Michelle's pretty in tune with her character. Mike is fairly in tune, and
see, Mike and
brother.
Sam and Michelle. Well, Michelle's actually playing a rogue this time, and normally she plays like a caster. So that's kind of cool. She's doing something a little bit different. But Mike and Sam have been playing some version of the same guy every time they play from this point on. So they have a lot of stuff to build off of.
Oh, you know what would be funny? And I know you're possibly going to have to adjust loot for this, but you should have a some sort of weapon that is possibly that could replace Betsy, but it already has an engraved name.
Oh yeah, I did wonderful. I like doing stuff with weapons and things. I like the
just
idea
to fuck
of
with Mike.
When you have a weapon like in a game like that, because the idea is you're going to constantly be replacing shit as you level up, just like in any game. What I like trying to do is give people the option, instead of replacing it, keeping their signature weapon and disenchanting or doing whatever the hell you want to call it to the other weapons, just so they can make their current weapon more powerful, so they have their signature way of doing things.
Basically like a breakdown weapon.
Right.
Something that breaks down, you replace certain pieces and it gets better even though it's a signature weapon. See, I'd fuck with them. I would have a weapon that is greater.
He could be in a love triangle with two axes.
Exactly. No, one axe, but it's a two-handed axe, and it's more powerful. and it's built for people like his character.
What's better is if you give him a double axe, so there's one on each end, and he's got to have a fight between which end he's going to use.
Yes, that would be great. But I would go on ahead and give it like a made-up stripper name, like
Candy
Amber.
cane.
Candy cane, cinnamon. Oh,
That's
that always
right.
works.
What's your name, sweet thing?
Shit, cinnamon. Shit, snacks.
Ooh.
What was
I
that
got
sound?
nothing.
I'm just sucking the air through my dick.
Just give me.
Are you watching Arrow?
Yes.
That show's retardedly good. Why would you
Yeah,
be
I know.
doing that?
I told you that before.
Well-
It's like way better than you would think it would be.
Well,
Like way better.
Yeah. Like, I was a little concerned about it, but then again, not so concerned because CW, for whatever reason, it does a really good job on just with that kind of material. But
Well, the good thing about CW too is since they're not with the major networks, they can get by with a show not getting remotely the same level of ratings. Because like, what would be like ratings that would get a show canceled
yeah,
on another network is like completely great for the CW. They're like, that's a-okay.
yeah, and I mean they've got Supernatural, they've got Vampire Diaries, which I hear is actually really good.
I don't like it. Michelle watches it. I tried watching it. It's okay, but the problem is it's like really hokey. Like, people have died and come back on that show so many times. It's just not even fucking funny.
Well, no, I agree with you. Then again, Supernatural, like the two main characters have died at least 5 times.
Yeah, I know.
But then again, it's all plausible, and you're like, I'll buy it.
Well, I mean, like on like on Vampire Diaries, they have this ring, or they have several of them. They actually have multiple ones. And like it brings you back to life when you die.
Okay.
But the thing is, supposedly, like after so many times, you start going crazy and shit. But it was just like, really.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I tried doing the count. I think if you count the number of times Sam has died, I think it's about 5 or 6. And I'm including like when they threw Lucifer into the pit.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong.
Dean,
Supernatural goes to the well too. I'm not for 1 second saying they don't.
Oh yeah, no.
But like the Vampire Diaries is just like it's got that stuff, and then on top of it, it's like got like all the real like not sappy, but the real contrived like love triangle romance plot
Yeah.
shit. And I'm just like,
Well, I tried watching an episode or two of it, and it seemed more like a Charmed show.
yeah, I mean,
Where it was
it's a
more
little
about
bit darker
the
than
character.
Charmed
Well, yeah,
was.
but it's about the character relationship, and then they kind of have a monster of the week thing, but it's all about the character relationships over other things. Is that Harrison? That is
Yep.
Harrison.
No, you talked last time, and you wouldn't let go. There's nobody up here to talk to. I've just got the headset on for fun. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not talking to anyone.
Oh shit!
I'm not talking to anybody. I'm listening to the game right here. I'm listening to the game. I'm not. Let go. Release. Stop.
And
Last time
this
you
is
threw
why
a
I don't
fit when you
want
talk.
kids. Is your son a begging? Corey?
Pretty please. Please. Put them on your ears. Why? Because you want to talk? Why do you want to talk for? What do you want to tell him? Do you want him to get you a dinosaur? I don't see that happening. He'd even go to his own niece's birthday party. Why would he get you something?
That's so sadly true.
He's a bad uncle. His niece likes me better than she does him because I'm awesome.
That is a bit true.
He's not here. I'm talking to myself. Stop pulling. Here, leave me alone. Come here. Come here.
Hey,
Hey, dude, what's going on?
Dad. Can you get me a dinosaur?
Will I get you a dinosaur?
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible, only because they died a long time ago.
I mean toys.
Why do you...
I mean toy ones.
What, those Star Wars toys weren't good enough?
No. I mean dinosaurs. Toy dinosaurs.
Why do you want toy dinosaurs?
Because I want them. I want them to play with them.
Just because you want them doesn't mean you're gonna get them.
Please.
You can beg all you want, but I'm going to need a better reason than I want them for me to even consider it.
I want some.
You want some?
Yeah.
You gotta come up with a better reason. When you have a better reason, I will think about it.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What is your better reason?
Well, I like dinosaurs.
Okay, no, still not good enough.
I want 3.
You want 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, dude. Until you give me a better reason other than I like them and I want them.
I like them.
Okay. If I got everything that I wanted because I liked it, I would have way too much crap. Which I already do.
You have a bedroom full of action figures growing up?
Shut up!
Just checking.
This coming from the guy who has an arsenal of Nerf because he used his son as an excuse to have it.
I'm prepared for the Nerf zombie apocalypse. What's your excuse?
Nerf zombie apocalypse? What are they going to do? Gum you to death?
You don't know. Nerf weapons are super effective against zombies. It's a proven fact.
Okay.
Science.
What is it? A multi-headshot?
Science.
If it's if it sticks, it's good.
Don't argue with science.
Uh huh. Harrison, you still there?
Yeah.
Can you give your dad back the headset?
What?
Can you give your dad back the headset?
Can you play me in dinosaur?
I'll think about it.
Well played.
Hey.
Okay, can I have the headset back now?
Yes.
All of that noise. It's so wonderful for your listening pleasure.
Well played. Can you give me the headset back? Can you get me a dinosaur?
Yeah, that was... He tried to,
Lawyered.
Yeah, pretty much. I think your son tried to handle me.
I think he did handle you.
And he's not getting a dinosaur. And he
Doesn't mean he
wanted
didn't handle
3
you.
of them. I think he attempted to and failed a little bit.
If you were a girl, you'd have been handled.
Oh, yeah, no, I've watched so many people get handled recently by a girl. Via text, via, like, a 5-year-old. Like, my niece handled me on her birthday. I called her to wish her a happy birthday, and she goes... We talked for, like, 2 minutes, and she goes, well, that's great, Uncle. I love you, bye. And just left, and I'm just like... Did she just act like I was talking to her? Holy shit!
She was like, yep. You're not important. You didn't come, loser. Moving on.
Yeah, and my sister she picked up the phone and she was like, you weren't talking that entire time. No, I wasn't. She's like, yeah, that's funny.
You got smoked.
Oh, I don't get females at all. I think they're all mini psychopaths.
Maybe.
I'm fairly positive of this. They all want something, but they're not willing to tell you what it is, so you're fucked. And not in that good way where you're like, success!
Oh, yeah. It's pretty much over for you.
Yeah.
Not having much luck in the love world, are we, West?
Oh, let's not even get into that.
I wouldn't dare.
Shut up, married man. Married man with a kid. You shotgun that shit.
You do what you can.
Honestly, I am a bit surprised that you were the first one to have a child. I thought that would have been John. Mr.
Well, technically.
That thing was aborted.
Technically.
There was an abortion issue involved. Which if that doesn't stir up viewer questionability. Yeah.
Nah, why would they do that?
Yeah. No, but honestly, I thought he would be the first one that had a kid and then tried to take care of it.
I think he would do all right with kids. He's good with kids.
No, I'm not saying
About
that.
on the same level.
I'm not saying that he's bad with them. It's more of a, who's the mom? That's the part that really concerns me.
Fair enough.
Because based on who the mother is how much John's actually involved. Fair?
Yeah. John's problem is he's I don't know, he's never grown up enough to actually, in my opinion, get any type of girlfriend that I've seen or had to be around anyway for the most part that was anywhere close to being like mom or wife potential.
Oh, right. I would say...
You're stretching. I know who you're going to say. You're going to say Lauren, aren't you?
I would say Lauren like 5 years after he met her.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing, though, is because those 5 years when she decided to go raving.
Wait, what?
Rave, like, she moved to Raleigh and, like, went to all kinds of raves and club parties and shit. Not like that, so Raven, not a Disney Channel, no.
Well,
like,
I thought
going
you
to
were
raves.
Like, yeah.
You know, like with the fucking cat in a hat and a pacifier.
Yeah.
Listening to Miley Cyrus dropping mollies or whatever the hell it's called. Whatever you kids say nowadays.
I have no honest idea. But, yeah, no, she would be... Well, I heard, what was her name? Calamity wasn't bad either. It's just John figured out a way to fuck that entire thing in its pooch.
No, she was a little off a rocker. She was in love with Jesus.
Oh, by the way, parents, future parents, anybody that hears this, if you name your child Calamity, you are legitimately asking for a problem child.
I mean, you got really two options. Your option is either to be a Wild West gunslinger or a stripper.
Yeah.
Or I guess you could go really far the way like she did and become like, you know, an apostle. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that my next female endeavor is not hyper-religious, because that'll be the fastest relationship I'll ever have.
Why would you think it would be? None of the rest of them have. You're not even attracted to those people.
Well, I've met a few that are, I love me some Jesus, but they don't openly say it, and it's kind of hard to read when they're sitting there as drunk as you are. So, it's a little difficult. And yeah, if that ever comes up, it's like, well, what do you think about Jesus?
He's pretty swell.
I met the guy who paints houses. Is that the Jesus you're talking about?
Jesus?
Actually, I legitimately recently met someone named Jesus, and the dude's like 22. And I looked at him and I'm like, please tell me you have sat at a table and said, one of you will betray me.
That's right.
How do you not do that joke? How do you not do that joke?
I don't know. Maybe you don't want to go to hell. Some people, that's a concern.
Well, he was apparently... Well, when the joke came up, he laughed hard enough to be like, oh, you're right, I got to do that. What's wrong with me? Oh, there's a possible another joke. You have a get a wine glass, have water in it, throw the water over your shoulder, and just pour wine in. Water to wine.
No, what you really do is you conceal one of those like little like Mio squirt bottles in your hand. Behold, cherry flavor.
Why does it look all powdery and like bleeding?
Shut your mouth hole.
It'll still stain the same. It will stain the same. Anyway, going back to what we were talking about, CW Arrow. Let me pose this question and see if you agree. Does it appear that Marvel characters do really well as movies, and DC characters seem to do really well as television shows?
Well, I think really they've only done 2, if you think about it, that were successful, and that was Smallville and Arrow. Because they did Birds of Prey, and that lasted a week and a half.
Right.
Well, it lasted like a season, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But,
but it feels like DC characters tend to they would make more sense as a television series. Like, even if you look at the Batman animated series, like, none of those have failed. Then again, it's Batman, so I'll write that one off. Superman, you had Lois and Clark. Actually,
that's
had
true.
about...
I forgot about Lois and Clark.
And I think there was another Superman TV show. But Superman,
way back in the day.
Yeah. But Superman has been more successful, at least in my opinion, as a television series than he ever has as a movie, and maybe it's because of that day-to-day
you got to understand
stuff.
Too, that for a long time, DC, you know who owns DC, right?
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, right. And Warner Brothers makes what?
Yes, I know.
TV and movies. Marvel was owned by Marvel
until
recently when Disney bought them, and now, they have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Which, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., brilliant television series. Just brilliant. I mean, that is the best idea I could have ever seen on how to handle that part of the Marvel universe.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like I said, I thoroughly enjoy it. And it was a good way to start, where you're getting some extra stuff, you're getting the Marvel universe, but they don't have to worry about doing superheroes nonstop.
Right.
So it serves a purpose of expanding their universe and also not breaking their budget.
Yeah, and it can cover all of those lower end characters that might have had their own series, but no one really cared about them. You've got Animal, you've got Cage, or no, is it Cage or Luke Cage?
Oh, well, he goes by either one.
Okay.
He also used to go as Power Man.
Oh, that's right. Which, I mean, was kind of... I think that's who they were trying to, say the first
guy. That's what I was curious about. If you're going to find out he ends up becoming...
Yeah.
Their version of Luke Cage. I was curious about that, too.
But you've got all of these, low-end Marvel characters that kind of jump in and out that I think are going to do really well in that S.H.I.E.L.D. series. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is if they touch on mutants. If they touch on mutants, that expands the entire universe beyond their control.
I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, simply because mutants and X-Men is still owned by Fox. The X-Men series, for instance, all right, Pietro and Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver are going to be in the new Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But the way it works is they share joint custody of those characters. I know, right? Between Fox and...
So is this what happens when Mommy and Daddy
Disney
fights?
So what's happening, basically, is they can use Quicksilver and Wanda as long as they don't mention Magneto or any of that side of their life, basically. They have to, because they were in the Avengers, too.
Yeah.
So basically, they have to use them, solely as, that side, not mention anything having to do with the fact that they're Magneto's kids.
Yeah, I would love to see how that happened as a contract.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Well, see, because what happened is, and they're stuck, right? Because, see, Sony has Spider-Man. Fox has Fantastic Four and
X-Men.
And...
But I thought Disney actually has Wolverine.
Well, Wolverine's owned by Fox. He's with the X-Men.
Oh, okay. I thought that was...
Not owned, but they have the rights to make movies about him.
Then... Well, and that leaves Disney with everything else, correct?
Yeah. I mean, Disney has, like, for instance, actually, Disney got Daredevil back.
Good.
And they got somebody else back. Who was it they
Punisher?
got back? I can't remember if it was the Punisher or not. I know Daredevil, and because I saw him talking about it the other day in the news. Let me see if I can find who it was.
Elektra?
Daredevil. I know Daredevil for certain was one of them, but it was Daredevil and somebody else. I don't remember if it was Punisher, or if it was Ghost Rider. I don't think it was Ghost Rider because nobody
Elektra?
wants to do shit with Ghost Rider right now. Yeah, I'm thinking it was the Punisher just because I can't remember.
Well, the only other person that I can think that there would be Elektra.
No.
Although
I mean, she
would
goes
possibly,
with Daredevil.
Well, yeah.
I mean that I'm almost positive those rights all revert at the same time.
Yeah. But even though, well, that said, like, you could mention mutants without saying mutants because that is a big like staple in the Marvel universe as an overall. And what was it? After House of, before House of M, they had that huge crossing with that some people that they thought were not, or were like superhuman people, were actually mutants, just really old ones, like Namor.
Right. Well, yeah, Namor. Yeah, he's the world's first mutant, supposedly.
I thought Apocalypse is the world's first mutant.
He is, but like,
dude,
the comics.
Oh, I didn't catch a single thing.
Namor was the first one that was introduced in the comics.
Oh, right.
Like chronology wise,
right.
Like, Apocalypse is according to the the lore and whatnot.
Yeah. Which the one thing I don't get about Apocalypse is if he is considered one of the first mutants, why did he get such a superpower? Like, his power is insane.
Well, see, I don't know. Apocalypse to me is the black hole of writing because he's the nuclear option. He's lazy writing because what can you write about him?
I'm going to try and take over the universe, but I'm going to start with Earth that I can't get yet.
He's like not he's like the he's like the stepbrother of the two other big guns in comics, Darkseid and Thanos.
Yeah.
He's just like, look, I'm Apocalypse. I'm kind of like those guys, but just for mutants.
Yeah.
Like, what? Really?
Well,
who the fuck are you?
And then again, you've got Thanos, who's yet again another Marvel character.
Right.
But which actually, when the Avengers 2 comes out, I wonder if they're going to do any kind of like cross-leading with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, see, here's what I
because
think
Whedon's in control of both.
They probably won't. But what I think they should do is I think they should use Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a lead-in.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree with you. I think that would be brilliant.
Like something that you don't have to see. Because they don't want to do that. You don't have to see it to know what's going on in the movie at all. But maybe to lead in, and maybe they're trying to get something or retrieve an item that they're going to need, and then, that's why they have access to it in the movie.
Yeah, and then they can make mention, because one of the...
You saw how they got it, and in the movie, you're just going to hear that, S.H.I.E.L.D. acquired this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I've liked about S.H.I.E.L.D. so far, is they are direct referencing Avengers. They're like, yeah, and then aliens came through the...
In Iron Man 3, Extremis. They've been talking about Extremis a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they've been referencing the movies of the world that they're in, which is nice. So that possibly means that they're going to do something that's going to possibly lead up to Avengers 2. Avengers 2 is going to happen, and then... because Avengers 2 is going to happen during the season break, and then S.H.I.E.L.D., as long as it gets a second season, we'll be able to pick up with...
They've already picked up the second season for it.
Oh, okay, good. Because
I want to see Captain America. By the way, you seen the new trailer for it? It's fucking badass.
No, I haven't seen the new trailer, but I've seen the new cover or poster art.
Oh, where he's standing there looking out the helicarrier or whatever.
Yes. Oh, Captain America. I'm curious. I have yet to see Iron Man 3, but I'm concerned that if we're not careful, we're going to get way too many of the Avengers team movies. I'm a little stoked for Thor 2, just because that looked fucking awesome.
Thor. Well, see, like I like Captain America because they're doing the Winter Soldier story, which is one of the best stories they did. They even do part of it. Because this is going to be like the first one was a pulp, period piece. This one's going to be almost like a thriller, like a political thriller. If you watch the trailer, you can tell that. Because that's what Marvel's doing with their movies. Each one of them has been like a different kind of theme or genre they're hitting. Yeah,
it also seems like they're going about, even though they're giant blockbusters, it feels a little bit more closer to like a miniseries. Like if you start with Iron Man, I believe is the first one. Is that correct?
Yeah, Iron Man was the
if you start with Iron Man 1 and then collect Iron Man, Thor, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Captain America, and actually you could throw the Incredible Hulk in as well, and then the Avengers. What one am I missing? I'm missing something, and the Shield television series. If you watch all of that kind of together, you have like a really, really long miniseries.
Right. Well, I mean, they got the that's what they call Phase 1.
Yeah.
The way that works, like they had Phase 1, and this is Phase 2, and Phase 2 will end with the Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Phase 2. I'm waiting for Guardians of the Galaxy. I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy really bad.
I'm a little concerned. I mean, I know that Vin Diesel's playing.
He's playing Groot.
And oh crap! I saw the picture of the guy who's voicing Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, it was isn't it Bradley Cooper? Who's doing it? I can't remember. I thought it was Bradley Cooper doing Rocket Raccoon.
I'm looking. I love it when my face just drains. Yeah, Bradley Cooper is Rocket Raccoon. Vin Diesel is Groot. And those are about the only two I care about at the moment. I don't know much about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the way they seem to be setting this up, Guardians of the Galaxy are like a bunch of misfits that end up having to like go out there and like kind of like the A-Team in space almost.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how they're going to do them movie-wise, but they're part, or the versions of them they used in like the Annihilation miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was awesome. The equal to Annihilation, then the like 4 or 5 series that came out of that, and then led into Annihilation Conquest, the second series,
right,
were awesome. And then the way it works is it was like a 7-year-long kind of mega story, but it didn't feel that way. There was like 4 or 5 like little miniseries that led into Annihilation, having to do with the specific characters.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had Annihilation. Then there was like 3 or 4 ongoing series that popped up out of Annihilation, like not miniseries, but actually ongoings. Like they rebooted Nova and a couple things, and Guardians of the Galaxy was one.
Right.
And then that led into Annihilation Conquest, which continued kind of the big shit going on. Then that ended, and you went back to the series again, and then those series fed into the Thanos Imperative, and that was like kind of the big capstone.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you ended up realizing it was like a trilogy almost.
Gotcha.
It was like you're watching a movie trilogy. It was like it's easily one of the best, well put together, cohesive, awesome series I've seen in a super long time.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just as an overall concern. Then again, I'm happy that they're deciding to do this now, because 10 years ago that this movie just wouldn't have been really possible.
Right.
Well, maybe 10 years ago, but it probably would have been shit because the production value would have been so ridiculously high. Just because, I mean, you've got Rocket Raccoon and Groot, who both have to be 100% animated, and if the animation's bad, I mean, what's the point?
All right. I gotta step away for just a second.
All right. Yes, shit snacks are made out of what you would consider chocolate. But where were we? Marvel TV series. Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't get me wrong. I don't know the story like at all. I think
Right.
I've read one or two.
Let me give you this as a rough idea. How about that?
All right.
You need to think of them as the comic book version of Firefly.
Okay.
A group of people who shouldn't fit together, having to fit together,
That
and
well, but they're basically dealing with like Green Lantern shit, right?
but I mean, like, but on a more hero type level.
Yeah. I guess and this is where me and like Marvel kind of skew. Like, I love me some Marvel. Me and Marvel, we buds. But the second they step into outer space, I'm like,
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like the Annihilation Wave and stuff is dealing with all the cosmic characters.
yeah.
It is really put together. Like, I never really did it a whole lot before either, but that's pretty boss.
And I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's dealing with the whole idea of like superheroes in outer space. It just kind of seems silly to me.
Well, I mean,
Like,
it's not.
when they
Like
took
I said, you
X-Men
can't really look
to
at them as
space.
superheroes in the same way that, in the same way like Captain America, Thor, type whatever. Some of them are. Some of them have like crazy cosmic powers.
Yeah.
But not all of them. I mean, they're. It's almost like a world removed. I mean, the Marvel Universe is there, and they deal with the people on Earth, but a lot of times, most of them never set foot on Earth. It's like almost a whole different universe.
And I mean, then again, like, I know the Fantastic Four is a great story, but I think one of the reasons it turned off of them is because they sometimes are fighting on Earth. Well, they're always fighting on Earth, but sometimes it's with an Earth threat, and then it's with a cosmic threat. And really, the 4 small beings are taking on something that eats planets. Sure.
Well, that's why I had to beat him with the Ultimate Nullifier. But yeah, because they couldn't actually beat him. He had to outthink him. That's what Reed Richards does.
Yeah, but they do it like once a week, and it's like, seriously? Try again, I guess. But and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, the Phoenix storyline for X-Men, that's really good. Yet again, once they took the X-Men into space, I'm like, I'm finding this harder and harder and harder to believe. You can bring him from a different dimension, I would believe that faster than they came across the galaxy.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that I kind of like about DC is when they deal with a cosmic threat, it's Superman. Like, that's their go-to. It's like, oh, it came from space, Superman.
Yeah, or Green Lantern or whatever.
Green Lantern, yeah.
Depending on if they stay in space or not, or what's going on.
Yeah, and they've got like Green Lantern buckled down because Earth is a part of the sector that he's supposed to protect. So with Earth as his home planet, you just throw shit at Earth, and he has a reason to defend Earth.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think a lot of the DC characters will do a whole lot better television series than they will on the big screen. Like, you're gonna have your one or two give me's, like the Batman. Batman did wonderfully on the big screen, but then again, think he might actually do better in a television series. Especially if you set it up like Arrow is, where you kind of do the reminiscing part and you do all this character building on who Bruce Wayne is and all that mess.
Well, see, I don't know. Did you see the newest episode of Arrow?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Because a version of the Black Canary is in there now, and of course she's been trained by the damn
Ra's al Ghul.
right, the League of Shadows, or in the case of the comics, the League of Assassins, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, they're the same organization.
Right. But it's
Come on, you can do it. It's words. They're not that hard.
yeah, I know. I'm telling you, I'm running on fumes. They got that in there. That was really cool. So it's a bigger thing. They threw in an Easter egg at the very end. If you looked at the ship that had Oliver was on back on the island that had captured him, the back of it said Amazo.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the one thing that I'm digging a lot about Arrow is I've tried reading a couple of Arrow comics and tried to get into that character, but honestly, most of them are boring as shit. I
like me some Green Arrow. The reboot they did of it when Kevin Smith rebooted it was fucking awesome.
I mean, I have that tray, but I'm not saying that the writing's bad. It's just he doesn't seem interesting at all.
The thing about Arrow or Green Arrow a lot of times is if you're not careful, he comes off as the poor man's Batman. He's also a millionaire.
Yeah,
he also fights crime. He was also he disappeared for years.
He also there's a lot of context with his backstory that if you don't know any of that, it's really hard to pick that character up. Where Batman, it's actually kind of simple. It's he as a child, his parents were shot in front of him. He was trained as a ninja. He protects the city so that never happens to him again. Like, that's really discreet and simple. From what I'm learning from the show, and I don't know how in line that is with the comic backing, there is a lot of pretext back history about Queen and his family and all of that.
Well, the family and stuff, that's all show stuff. In the comic, I mean, he almost has the same origin story as, like, Batman. Both of his parents died / got killed. And, like, he was left as an orphan, and then later on he got shipwrecked on the island and had to survive Robinson Crusoe style, and like had to learn all these abilities and stuff to be able to make it and everything. And he came back and he decided to, fight crime in his city. Hey, doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Something about that just seems really boring. Like, with Batman, that was a decision he made before he even learned his ninja skills. But I don't know. It's just something about Arrow just seems really hard to get into. And maybe it's because of the supporting characters. Whereas in, like, Batman, like, all of the supporting characters are villains most of the time. In Arrow, it seems like there's supporting characters that are neither with nor against Green Arrow.
And I'm curious to see what they do with Slade, because the guy they called Deathstroke at the beginning wasn't actually Deathstroke. It was Wintergreen. So I'm curious to see what they do, because, obviously, if they keep with it, we know what Slade ends up doing. He ends up being, actually, Green Arrow is one of his biggest nemesis.
Well, yeah.
Deathstroke and Merlin were his two biggest people in the comics he had to deal with.
Yeah, and Deathstroke is Slade, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Had me confused. But Deathstroke, he's also a very big villain to a lot of other characters within the DC
Teen
universe.
Titans and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, and I don't know if this has ever been revealed, but I don't think Deathstroke is one person. I think he's several people. Because there is no way that dude is trying to kill everyone all the time. All the time. I mean, you take on the Teen Titans for fun. Your biggest nemesis out of the Teen Titans is the most average being amongst them. And yet again, you're trying to kill all these other people. You try and kill Batman on a regular basis. You try and kill Green Arrow on a regular basis. You try and kill people within Green Arrow's universe on a regular. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure he's jumped over into Marvel and tried to kill some of their characters.
Probably so. More or less.
Yeah, he's always trying to kill somebody. And by the way, how does he get his fucking money? He never kills any of the superheroes. So, and I know he gets hired to off them. So
I guess you're supposed to assume it's all those normal poor saps that get assassinated that he gets his money off of.
Honestly, I think they should. The next reboot that DC does, they need to clean house and use Deathstroke to just wipe off a bunch of non-important characters, people that have been kind of there and not there, and just have Deathstroke go on a killing spree.
They've tried stuff like that before, but you know that shit never sticks. I mean, people die, but they never die for terribly long.
Actually, you know someone who would make sense in Arrow or villain-wise in Arrow, and I would love to see as a character, and I'd love to see how they pull that off, because of the medium, is Onomatopoeia.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Smith created him, so
yeah, I know, but the idea of placing that character in, because he's another assassin character, he's really good at his job. And the last comic that he was in, it was revealed that he actually has a family and shit like that, and he's seeking revenge, I believe.
Aren't they always?
Well, yeah, I forget what, or if it was even mentioned on why he's seeking revenge, but he has a full-blown family and all of that jazz. It's just the whole way that could be perceived or shown on the screen would be amazing. Possibly. Then again, they could fuck that up really easily. Things may come off a little jokey. Possibly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I like Arrow. I accept that it's a obviously slightly different universe than traditional comic or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same to me. That's not really something that.
No, I think they built a rational character. They took I guess a superhero in the eyes of what could be conceived as a superhero, and placed him in a scenario like I could see Oliver
Now,
Queen
I don't know if
existing.
you paid attention in the first episode of this season, but there was a news report in the background that gave you a hint of something that's going to happen probably in the next, I think the next, maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and then it's going to come back again at the end. But, of course, you know he's in Starling City, which in the comics that's Star City, but, you know, that's not a big deal. They changed it a little bit. But what they did do that was cool is if you pay attention to the background, one of those news reports that said it was like construction has been completed on the Central City Particle Accelerator, blah 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 blah. Well, Central City's where the Flash is from.
Oh, right.
And it's a particle accelerator, and the Flash is going to make an appearance this season.
Has that been announced, or
yes,
just...
it has.
Oh, okay.
He's going to make an appearance this season.
Yeah. I think Flash would make an excellent television series as well, because he's a fun character.
Well, that's what they're doing. It's going to be Barry Allen, but he's going to make an appearance kind of early in the season. He's going to come back towards the end of the season for our arc, and it's going to be a backdoor pilot. You know, so
gotcha.
they're trying to set up to give him a show next season, maybe.
Oh, that's cool. Or at least a crossover. Or Arrow now has multiple characters within the universe. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Green Lantern would make a great series. I can't think of other DC characters. This is silly.
Well, Green Lantern is going to be too many special effects to.
Oh, yeah, good point. Like they wouldn't be able to pull him off in a cheap manner. Well, who else you got in the DC universe that would work?
Well, you got any of the ground level heroes you're talking about. Flash, right. I'm curious to see what they do with him as far as special effects to get him done. I guess they could do it. But you got let's see. Anybody in the Batman family, obviously, for the most part.
You've got what is his name?
Which half of those pop up in Arrow too, because those universes or those families kind of cross over a little bit.
Yeah. What's the Birdman's name? Hawk Hawkman?
Hawkman.
Yeah. You've got him and Hawkgirl. You've got... Like, I know all of these characters, and this is annoying the shit out of me. Because I read a lot of Justice League. And... Well, I mean, the Justice League could work.
Yeah, but you got to go through. Well, I mean, they did that kind of at the end of whatchamacallit.
Oh, Smallville.
Smallville.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had their own version of Arrow and their own version of the Flash. And
what about Aquaman?
they did him in Smallville too.
Well, do you think he's a strong enough character?
Aquaman's such a hard sell because it's so hard to convince people he's worth a damn.
Well, you're right. I heard that one of his recent revamps, like his story is badass now. Like,
oh
it
yeah,
is
well, they
worth
did a
reading.
really cool version of him one time, but it's just whether or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. You talk to dolphins? What?
Right. It's just a hard sell.
You're
Period.
really gonna have all of the Earth Day people with you, but that's about it. Who else? Wonder Woman. Actually, she would make a. I
They
think
tried that with.
Wait. Well, I know they tried back in the day. They haven't tried recently, though.
Yeah, they did. It just didn't make it to series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Huh? Sure. I didn't. What did she give you last night? I didn't even see it. To just wear 'em? That's awesome.
What happened?
Michelle will show me something.
Oh, okay. Wait. When did they try?
Like last year before last, something like that.
Well, I'd heard that they were going to, but I didn't hear that they made
Well,
a pilot.
they filmed a pilot,
Uh-huh.
and I think maybe another episode. I can't remember. They filmed it a couple times, and it didn't get picked up.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
There's shit online. If you don't look at type in like David E. Kelly Wonder Woman, he was the one who did it. And there'll be pictures. It's like the chick from Friday Night Lights that was playing Wonder Woman. One of the chicks from that show.
Oh, that's right. I think it's the suit. I think the suit's what's killing me.
Yeah, it was just kind of.
Yeah. I think you would have to, I don't know, realistic her up a bit. Like, instead of the bustier and shit, like, give her a t-shirt with the symbol. I know she's supposed to be an Amazon, but come on.
Yeah, I mean it's just they couldn't decide what they wanted to do. You know, they were stuck between trying to update her and also do something different, and it wasn't working out for them. Basically,
Gotcha.
they were trying to, like I said, they're just trying to spread themselves. You know, too many different directions, please too many different audiences, I guess you could say. And that's what happens when you do that. You get jacked up.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, the last thing on it's the reception from it, and one of the television critics just said it was embarrassing.
It was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I think she could do it. Or I think Wonder Woman is a possible like TV series, but you've got to structure this person right.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and that's the thing. They don't seem to be able to see because, you know, for a while they'd hired Joss Whedon to make a movie, like back before Marvel hired him for Avengers, and like he couldn't make her what they wanted,
Which was something that could make toys.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's Joss Whedon, and I'm sure now they're going like, motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he made arguably one of the most famous female heroines in television history, Buffy.
Yeah.
The dude knows comic books.
The dude created his own spin-off after... Okay, he created a movie, didn't like the movie that he made a TV series out of it. It ran 7 years. Is it 7? 7 seasons. It ran 7 seasons. He got a spin-off show on from
Off of that, yeah.
that he wrote as well. And then the series, when the first series ended, the comic went for 2 to 3 more seasons, which is insane. He wrote another.
The comic's actually still going, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it still going?
Yeah, he just takes a break in between the seasons of the comic.
Yeah. He wrote another storyline that involves something that no one's ever really pulled off correctly. Did a really good job, got canceled, now has one of the biggest fan followings, went and produced a first television series to get a movie deal.
After it being canceled.
After being canceled, and it was more than like 4 years, right?
Like, it was a long time.
Yeah, the show was canceled for a number of years, and then it got its major motion picture, which, if I'm not mistaken, actually did fairly well. Then what was it? What did he do after that? Oh, had the thing with Dollhouse, which I don't know what everyone's issue is. Dollhouse was pretty good.
Dollhouse's problem was Fox was all over him about the way he was doing stuff to begin with and shit they wanted him to do.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, when he finally got to start doing what he wanted to, and it was toward the end of the first season, like, actually into the second season. But by that time, they had bounced him around so many times, and, you know, just...
Fox needs to step the fuck back.
Well, that's what he, like, if you read any of his interviews where he talks about Fox, like, he's like, I would never, ever, ever, ever do anything for them ever again. He's like, they are just terrible. Flat out god awful.
Yeah.
Because they moved, like, they killed Firefly.
Yep.
And they killed that. And both of the same thing happened to them. They stepped in and wanted to do shit. And they also, like, moved around, like, when they were on the air.
Yeah.
And it's hard to have a fan base when you're constantly moving when the damn show's on. Preempted it because of the World Series and all kinds of different shit.
Yeah. Fox is trying to get money from way too many places. And they're not trusting... Like, I'm sorry, you've had a guy who, in my opinion, has proved himself on being able to write a story. Do I think Dollhouse was as good as possibly Buffy and Angel and Firefly? No. But then again, I think it was a slower build, and it would
I think
have
it could have got there.
Yeah, I think it would have been a whole lot better.
Especially when they were showing you the crazy, like, future world.
Yes. Which, that took me off for a minute. Like, a little unexpected on that one. But they never really finished the entire story with Alpha either. That annoyed the shit out of me.
With Alphas?
Well, no, with Alpha.
The Alpha, the one that Alan Tudyk was playing.
Yeah, I believe the character's name was Alpha.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Elijah Dushku's was Echo. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But that whole story arc with him just didn't seem finished. Like, at the end of season 1, you're introduced to, like, the hyper villain, and he's not really around anymore. I think they killed him. It was like one of those really cheesy ways. He just died. They
He'll
went
pop
for
up again. That's how it normally works.
Well, but it's canceled after season 2.
Well, right. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was wanting that show to be more, and it was good enough for me to keep watching, but it took a little too long, and you could tell that there were some issues. Because you're right, near the end of the second season, it's like, holy shit, why did this get amazing? Because everything happens on, like, hyperspeed.
Yeah, because they knew that, like, that's all they had, all the time they had.
Yeah. You've got what was it? Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. That was awesome.
You know, I still haven't managed to watch all that.
What? It's like 45 minutes.
I know, but every time I've started it, you know, because I was on the computer originally.
I
was doing it while I was doing something. I had to stop and, you know, do whatever.
Well, like, yeah,
shit happens.
It's on everything now. Like, it's on Netflix and Hulu and whatever else you need it to be on so you could watch it. It's there. But yeah, no, I'm excited that he's been going. Fox needs to just stop existing. Like, nothing good comes from Fox. at all.
They got that Sleepy Hollow show now. It's okay.
I'm into it. I'm not like jumping for joy on it.
Well, see, my thing is they got a really cool
fucking
premise, like as far as the background lore and stuff. I
Yeah.
want to see if they take advantage of it.
Yes, and I like the whole idea that they've kind of got this Sherlock thing going on, and they're building on the end of days basically because you're dealing with the horsemen and all that stuff, which was an interesting turn. Wasn't expecting that, but I mean the fact that the Headless Horseman is actually the one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, that's pretty awesome.
That was cool.
And the fact that Ichabod Crane is a little bit more than just a educated man who's trying to discover a new way to deal with fact and stuff like that, and being thrown into a supernatural element, like he's a defender of it. That's kind of cool. And they've got this whole witchcraft thing being built on, which honestly, I don't think I would have bought that show 5 episodes in and then starting to introduce witchcraft if they didn't open it the way that they did, with him coming out of the ground and he's been dead for like 200 years and shit.
Yeah.
That was really smart. Because that starts, you're dealing with this character who's like, bullshit. And you're like, no, I saw it. And you buy the entire world that they created. Those writers were brilliant. They really were. It was a smart move. So here's hoping that show is good, and Fox doesn't fuck that one up.
Well, see, what they've supposedly they're trying to learn, and it's only going to be 13 episodes long this season. What they're trying to do, I think, is instead of having traditional 22 episode-ish seasons, what they're supposedly doing is taking a page out of the book of like cable shows and stuff, and have like more shows, but have 30 episode seasons, so they can try to like condense it more. I mean, it makes so there's not filler episodes and stuff. That's their idea for success. Yes.
Did he just say daddy and sneeze? So you're listening to the Nerd Method podcast with West and
Chris.
Yay, you got it this time. You can get in touch with us on... Fuck, what's the email? I forgot. You forgot too!
Let me make sure I know what it is without fucking it up. I have it on my phone.
I believe it is nerdmethodpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, methodpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, just email us if you want to talk to us.
You might want to re-record that. That's a clusterfuck failure right there.
I think it's a nice intro. I really think it's a nice intro. Oh.